It was 2:13 a.m. Highway 77 looked endless. No street lights. No traffic. Only the sound of wind cutting through empty land. And somewhere in that silence, a taxi was moving slowly. Inside it, a man named Rafik was driving home after a long night shift. He had driven this route many times before. But tonight felt different. He couldn't explain it, but something about the road felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. Even the radio had stopped working minutes ago. Just static. Rafik sighed and tapped the dashboard. Come on, don't start this tonight. Suddenly, the radio cracked to life. But not music. Not news. Just a whisper. Turn back. Rafik frowned. He looked at the radio. Very funny, he muttered. He switched it off. But the sound didn't stop. The whisper continued, even after the radio was off. Turn back. Rafik's grip tightened on the steering wheel. The road ahead was empty, yet somehow it felt like something was watching him. He checked the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just darkness. Then suddenly, a flicker. In the mirror. A shape. In the back seat. Rafik's heart skipped. He quickly turned around. Empty. No, I'm just tired, he said to himself. But when he looked back at the mirror, the shape was clearer now. A woman. Sitting in the back seat. Rafik slammed the brakes. The taxi screeched and stopped in the middle of the highway. He turned around instantly. The back seat was empty. But the air inside the car had changed. Cold. Heavy. Breathing felt harder. Then, a voice came directly beside his ear. Why did you stop? Rafik froze. Slowly turned his head. Nothing. But the voice continued. Keep driving. The car engine suddenly started on its own. Rafik tried to turn the key off. It wouldn't move. The steering wheel turned slightly by itself. The car began moving forward again. No, Rafik panicked. The highway ahead started changing. The road markings began to disappear. The darkness on both sides grew deeper, like it was alive. And then he saw it. A woman standing in the middle of the road. White dress. Long hair covering her face. Not moving. Just standing. Rafik hit the brakes again. But the car didn't stop. It went straight through her. Silence. No impact. No sound. Just nothing. Rafik looked around rapidly. Where did she go? Then, a reflection appeared in the windshield. The woman was now sitting on the hood of the car, looking straight at him. Rafik screamed and tried to open the door. Locked. All doors locked automatically. The car began accelerating. 120 kilometers per hour. 140 kilometers per hour. Even though his foot wasn't on the accelerator. The woman slowly tilted her head. And whispered. You don't remember me, do you? Rafik's mind started flashing with images. Rain. This same highway. Years ago. A car accident. A woman on the road. And him, driving away. No, that wasn't me, he whispered. But the memory didn't stop. It became clearer. He had hit her. Not stopped. Not helped. He had driven away. Leaving her there. The woman outside the car smiled. But it wasn't a normal smile. It stretched too far. Too wrong. And she said, You left me here. The car lights flickered violently. The road disappeared completely for a second. And when it came back, they were no longer on Highway 77. The road was different. Broken. Rusty. Like it belonged to another world. Rafik started crying. "What do you want from me?" The woman leaned closer to the windshield. Her face finally visible. Half burned. Eyes completely black. And she whispered, "I want you to finish the ride." The car suddenly stopped. Engine dead. Everything silent. The woman was gone again. But the back seat door slowly opened by itself. A cold wind entered the car. And inside that wind, there was a sound. Footsteps. Coming closer. From outside. Circling the car. Rafik didn't move. He couldn't. Then. A knock on the window. Slow. 3 times. He turned his head slowly. The woman was outside now. Standing right beside his window. And she said softly, "This time, don't wake up." The window began to crack. Slowly. Like something was pressing from both sides. Rafik screamed. And everything went white, white light. Endless white light. Rafik felt weightless. No sound. No movement. Just emptiness. For a moment, he thought he was dead. Then suddenly, a loud gasp escaped his mouth as he woke up inside the taxi again. The engine was running. The headlights were on. And Highway 77 stretched endlessly ahead. Everything looked normal again. Almost. Rafik breathed heavily and looked around. Empty back seat. No woman. No whispers. Nothing. He quickly grabbed his phone. No signal. 2:13 a.m. The exact same time as before. No, 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 no. His hands trembled violently. He opened the taxi door and stumbled outside. Cold wind hit his face immediately. The highway was silent. Too silent. Not even insects. Not even distant traffic. Only darkness. Rafik started walking away from the taxi. Fast at first. Then faster. Almost running. But after several minutes, he froze. His taxi was parked ahead of him again. Same headlights. Same position. Same empty road. That's impossible. He turned around. Walked the opposite direction. 10 minutes later. The taxi appeared again. Waiting for him. Like the highway itself was trapping him. Then the radio inside the car turned on by itself. Static filled the air. And through the static came a voice. A woman's voice. Soft. Broken. You can't leave until the ride is over. Rafik backed away slowly. What do you want from me? The radio crackled again. I waited for you. Suddenly. The headlights shut off. Darkness swallowed everything instantly. Rafik could barely breathe. Then, in the distance, he saw figures. Standing on the highway. Dozens of them. Maybe more. Perfectly still. As lightning flashed across the sky, he finally saw them clearly. People. Burned. Broken. Bloody. Some missing faces. Some twisted unnaturally. All staring directly at him. And every single one of them began walking forward at the same time. Slowly. Silently. Rafik jumped back into the taxi and slammed the locks down. The figures surrounded the vehicle. Their pale hands pressed against the windows. Leaving bloody marks behind. And then. Every one of them whispered together. Driver. The windows began cracking again. Rafik covered his ears. Stop. But the voices only grew louder. "Driver! Take us home!" Suddenly, everything stopped. The figures disappeared instantly. The windows became normal again. And the taxi engine restarted. Then the GPS screen flickered on by itself. A location appeared. Final destination, Black Ridge Bridge. Distance remaining, 13 miles. Rafik stared at the screen. No. But the steering wheel turned on its own. The taxi started moving. The road ahead became narrower. Dead trees appeared on both sides. Fog rolled across the asphalt like smoke. And somewhere far away, a woman was singing softly. The deeper he drove, the worse the air became. The smell of burned metal, wet soil, rot. Then, his headlights illuminated something hanging from a tree. Rafik slowed down. His blood turned cold. It was a car door. Burned black. Covered in dried blood. And hanging beneath it, human fingers. Rafik gagged. The woman's singing suddenly stopped. Complete silence again. Then the voice came from the back seat. "You still don't remember everything." Rafik slowly looked in the mirror. The woman was back. Sitting directly behind him. Closer this time. Her burned face twitched unnaturally. And now he noticed something horrifying. Half her skull was crushed inward. Like she had been dragged across the road. "You killed me," she whispered. Tears filled Rafik's eyes. "It was an accident." The woman smiled slowly. "No." And suddenly, the memory returned completely. Years ago, Rafik had been drunk. Driving too fast. Laughing while texting someone. Then, a woman appeared on the road. He hit her. Hard. He remembered hearing bones crack. He remembered her screaming. But worst of all, he remembered getting out of the taxi afterward. Seeing she was still alive. And leaving anyway. Rafik broke down crying. "Oh God." The woman leaned forward until her face was inches from his. "I begged you for help." Her voice suddenly changed. Deeper. Angrier. Inhuman. "But you left me there to die." The taxi lights exploded. Glass shattered outward. The car spun violently across the road. And then, everything stopped again. Rafik looked up slowly. They had reached Black Ridge Bridge. The bridge looked ancient. Rust covered every rail. Dark water moved beneath it silently. And abandoned vehicles lined both sides. Hundreds of them. Old cars. Trucks. Motorcycles. All empty. Rafik stepped out slowly. Every vehicle door was open. As if people had simply vanished. Then he noticed something terrifying. Inside every car, there were scratch marks on the windows. Deep scratches. Like people had tried desperately to escape. The woman appeared at the center of the bridge. Standing motionless. Fog twisting around her body. "This is where it ends," she whispered. Rafik shook his head. "What is this place?" The woman slowly raised her arm. Pointing toward the dark water below. Bodies. Dozens of them floating beneath the bridge. Some fresh. Some skeletal. All staring upward. Rafik stumbled backward in horror. Then the woman said something that made his blood freeze. They were all drivers. Suddenly, the abandoned cars around him began turning on one by one. Headlights illuminated the bridge. Engines roared to life. Doors slammed shut. And inside every vehicle, figures appeared in the driver's seats. Motionless silhouettes. watching him. Then all the car horns blasted at once. A deafening scream of metal and sound. Rafik fell to his knees, covering his ears. The woman began walking toward him slowly. But now she no longer looked human. Her limbs bent the wrong way. Her mouth stretched open impossibly wide. Black liquid poured from her eyes. "You left me alone," she growled. The bridge started shaking violently. The water below began rising. Hands emerged from beneath the surface. Hundreds of pale hands reaching upward, trying to grab him. Rafik screamed. "I'm sorry." The woman stopped. For a moment, everything became silent. Then she tilted her head slightly and whispered. So was everyone else. The ground beneath Rafik cracked open. Dark hands grabbed his legs instantly, pulling him toward the water. He clawed at the bridge desperately, screaming, begging, crying. But the hands kept dragging him closer. And then, the woman crouched beside him, smiling softly, almost kindly. "You should have stopped that night." The hands finally pulled him over the edge. Rafik disappeared into the darkness below. The water swallowed him instantly. Silence returned. Hours later, morning sunlight reached Highway 77. Everything looked normal. Empty road. Cold wind. Nothing unusual. Then, a truck driver passing through noticed something abandoned near the roadside. A yellow taxi. Engine still running. Driver door open. But no driver. The truck driver frowned. He looked inside. Empty. Except for one thing. Written across the fogged windshield from the inside. 5 words. "The ride never ends." The truck driver stepped back nervously. Then, a woman's voice whispered softly from the back seat. "Can you take me home?" At exactly 1:36 a.m., Ethan Cole was driving alone through northern Nevada. Rain hammered against the windshield. The highway stretched endlessly into darkness. No gas stations. No towns. No signal. Just miles of empty road cutting through dead land. Ethan hated driving at night. But after missing his flight, this was his only option. 6 more hours and he'd reach Reno. That's what the GPS said. At least, before it stopped working. Now the screen only displayed one sentence. Recalculating. Over and over again. Ethan sighed and rubbed his tired eyes. The rain grew heavier. Thunder rolled across the sky. And somewhere ahead in the darkness, he noticed a figure standing beside the road. A man. Tall. Wearing a black suit. Standing perfectly still in the rain. Ethan slowed down slightly. The man didn't move. Didn't wave. Didn't react at all. Just stood there smiling. Something about that smile felt wrong. Too wide. Too still. As Ethan's headlights passed over him, the man suddenly turned his head unnaturally fast to follow the car. Still smiling. What the hell? Ethan pressed harder on the gas. A few seconds later, he looked in the rearview mirror. The man was gone. Ethan felt uneasy now. The kind of fear that crawls slowly into your chest. He turned on the radio to distract himself. Only static answered. Then, a voice emerged through the noise. Soft. Distorted. Don't stop for him. Ethan froze. Who said that? No answer. Only static again. Then suddenly, a shape appeared in the middle of the highway. Ethan slammed the brakes. The car skidded violently across wet asphalt. stopping inches away from someone. The smiling man, standing directly in front of the car. Rain pouring down his face. Smile wider than before. Ethan's breathing became rapid. How did he get here? The man slowly raised one hand and pointed toward the passenger seat. Ethan turned slowly. The seat beside him was empty. But the window was fogging from the inside, as if someone was breathing beside him. Then, words slowly appeared on the glass, written from invisible fingers. "He found you." Ethan screamed and looked back outside. The smiling man was gone again. The road ahead was empty. Only rain. Only darkness. Ethan stepped on the gas immediately. He didn't care how fast he drove anymore. He just wanted out. But after 20 minutes, he saw something impossible. A road sign. Mile 13. Ethan frowned. He had already passed mile 13 almost an hour ago. He looked behind him. No turns. No exits. No way he could have looped back. Then his headlights illuminated something ahead. A crashed car. Half buried in mud beside the road. Emergency lights blinking weakly. Ethan slowed down carefully. A woman stood beside the wreck waving frantically. "Please help me." Ethan hesitated. The voice from the radio echoed in his mind. "Don't stop for him." Not her. Him. The woman looked terrified. Rain soaked her clothes. "There's someone following me." Ethan looked around nervously. Empty highway. No one there. Then the woman said something strange. "He likes lonely drivers." Lightning flashed across the sky. For one split second, Ethan saw someone standing behind her. The smiling man. But when darkness returned, he was gone again. The woman climbed into Ethan's car quickly, locking the doors behind her. "Drive," she whispered urgently. "Now." Ethan sped away. The woman kept staring out the rear window nervously, as if expecting something to follow them. "Who is he?" Ethan finally asked. The woman stayed silent for several seconds, then answered softly. "No one knows his real name." She swallowed hard. "But people around here call him the hitchhiker of mile 13. Thunder exploded overhead. The woman continued speaking quietly. "They say he was a serial killer decades ago. He murdered drivers on this highway. Then one night, someone killed him instead." Ethan tried to laugh nervously. "A ghost story?" The woman didn't smile. "They found pieces of him scattered across the road. But after that, drivers started disappearing." Ethan's grip tightened on the wheel. The rain outside became almost blinding now. Then, the woman suddenly grabbed his arm hard. "Don't look in the mirror." Too late. Ethan already had. The smiling man was sitting in the back seat. His eyes were completely black. Water dripped from his suit. And his smile stretched from ear to ear unnaturally. Ethan nearly crashed the car. The woman screamed. "Keep driving." The smiling man spoke for the first time. His voice sounded wet. Broken. Like several people talking at once. "You picked the wrong road." The lights inside the car began flickering violently. The windshield cracked slowly. And outside, the highway sign started changing. Mile 14. Mile 15. Mile 16. Then suddenly, mile 666. Ethan's blood froze. No. The smiling man leaned forward between the seats slowly, close enough for Ethan to smell rotting flesh, and whispered, Nobody leaves after mile 13. The inside of the car smelled like rainwater and decay. Ethan gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. The smiling man sat motionless in the back seat. Still smiling. Still staring. The woman beside Ethan whispered shakily, "Don't talk to him." Ethan's breathing became uneven. "What is he?" The woman kept her eyes forward. "They say he feeds on fear. He traps drivers. And once he enters the car." She swallowed hard. "He never leaves." The smiling man tilted his head slightly. Bones cracked softly inside his neck. Then he spoke again. "She's lying." His voice sounded wrong. Not human. Like dozens of voices layered together. Men. Women. Children. All speaking at once. The dashboard lights suddenly shut off. The heater died. Cold air filled the car instantly. Then Ethan noticed something horrifying. The road outside had changed again. The asphalt was darker now. Old. Cracked. And on both sides of the highway, there were abandoned cars everywhere. Hundreds of them. Rusting beside the road. Doors hanging open. Windows shattered. Every single car looked empty. Until lightning flashed. For one split second, Ethan saw faces inside them. People sitting motionless in the dark. Watching. Then darkness swallowed them again. "Oh my God," Ethan whispered. The smiling man chuckled softly behind him. They stayed too long. Suddenly, the woman beside Ethan screamed. "Stop the car." Ahead of them, someone stood in the road. A little girl. Barefoot. Wearing a yellow raincoat. Head lowered. Not moving. Ethan slammed the brakes. The tires screeched across wet pavement. The car stopped inches from her. For several seconds. Nobody moved. Rain hammered the roof violently. Then the little girl slowly lifted her head. Her face was completely missing. Just smooth pale skin. No eyes. No mouth. No nose. Nothing. Ethan screamed. The smiling man burst into laughter. A horrible wet laughter that filled the entire car. The faceless girl suddenly sprinted toward them unnaturally fast. Too fast. Her feet twisted backward as she ran. "G.O., the woman shouted. Ethan hit the gas hard. The car shot forward. But in the rearview mirror, the girl was still there. Running behind them. Keeping up effortlessly. The smiling man leaned closer. "She likes you." Ethan swerved violently across the road. "Shut up." The woman suddenly grabbed Ethan's face and forced him to look at her. "Listen to me carefully. You cannot stop driving. No matter what you see. No matter who you hear. Do you understand?" Ethan nodded desperately. Then, his phone rang. Both of them froze. The screen displayed MOM calling. Ethan stared at it in confusion. That's impossible. His mother had died 3 years ago. The phone kept ringing. Again. 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 The woman whispered. "Don't answer." But the smiling man spoke softly behind them. "Maybe she misses you." Ethan's hand trembled toward the phone. The ringing finally stopped. Silence. Then a voicemail notification appeared automatically. Without touching the screen, the message began playing. His mother's voice filled the car. Crying. Terrified. "Ethan, please. He's here. Please come home." The message suddenly distorted into screaming static. Then another voice replaced it. The smiling man's voice. Turn around. The car engine sputtered violently. The headlights dimmed. Outside, fog rolled across the highway like living smoke. And then Ethan saw them. People standing in the fog. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. All smiling. Not normal smiles. The same smile. The smiling man's smile. Every figure slowly turned toward the car as it passed. Watching silently. The woman started crying quietly. He's spreading. Ethan looked at her. What does that mean? She hesitated. Then whispered. He was never human. Thunder exploded overhead. The smiling man suddenly appeared beside Ethan instead of the back seat. No movement. No sound. Just suddenly there. Ethan nearly crashed. How are you doing this? The smiling man stared ahead calmly. Rainwater dripped from his skin. His black eyes reflected nothing. This road belongs to me. The woman grabbed something from her pocket. A small silver cross. The moment she raised it, the smiling man hissed violently. His face twitched unnaturally. For the first time, his smile disappeared. The woman shouted, "Keep driving." The road ahead suddenly split into two highways. One leading into darkness. The other toward a distant gas station glowing faintly. The station. Ethan yelled. "We can get help." The woman's expression turned to horror. No. Too late. Ethan turned toward the gas station. The smiling man slowly smiled again. Wider than ever before. Bad choice. The gas station looked abandoned. Old neon lights flickered weakly. The parking lot was empty. Except for one truck covered in rust. Ethan stopped the car. Immediately the engine died. So did the lights. The smiling man vanished. Gone. Ethan breathed heavily. We lost him. The woman didn't answer. She was staring at the gas station building. Terrified. Then Ethan noticed something written across the windows in dark red letters. He is inside. The front door creaked open slowly by itself. Darkness waited inside. And from somewhere deep within the station came the sound of laughter. Wet. Broken. Inhuman. Ethan backed away slowly. We need to leave. But the car wouldn't start anymore. No matter how many times he turned the key. Dead. Then. Footsteps echoed from inside the gas station. Heavy. Slow. Approaching. The woman whispered. He wants us to run. The laughter grew louder. Closer. Closer. Then the smiling man stepped out of the darkness. But now, he was changing. His body stretched unnaturally tall. Arms too long. Jaw hanging open wider than humanly possible. His skin split apart slowly as black liquid poured out. And behind him, more smiling figures emerged from the darkness. Drivers. Victims. Copies. Ethan stumbled backward in horror. What are you? The creature tilted its head. Loneliness. The smiling crowd began walking toward them together. Slowly. Silently. The woman suddenly grabbed Ethan's hand. There's only one way out. What? You have to keep driving. But the car's dead. The woman looked at him with tears in her eyes. Then whispered something terrifying. Not your car. Behind them. Headlights suddenly illuminated the parking lot. A yellow taxi rolled slowly out of the fog. Driver door open. Engine running. No driver inside. Ethan's blood froze. It was the same taxi from dozens of missing person reports he'd seen online years ago. The smiling man pointed toward it. Final ride. The smiling crowd charged toward them instantly. Screaming. Laughing. Crawling unnaturally fast across the ground. Ethan and the woman sprinted toward the taxi. They jumped inside. The doors slammed shut automatically. And before Ethan could react, the taxi accelerated on its own. Straight back onto the highway. The smiling creatures chased behind them in the rain, but slowly disappeared into the darkness. Ethan looked around frantically. No driver. Then he noticed something horrifying in the rearview mirror. The woman beside him had no reflection. Ethan turned slowly toward her. She looked sad now. Almost guilty. "You died too," Ethan whispered. Tears rolled down her face. "He got me 5 years ago." The taxi sped faster and faster. The road ahead vanished into black fog. The woman smiled weakly. "But now he has you." Suddenly, the rearview mirror filled with dozens of smiling faces. All inside the taxi. Crowding closer. Whispering together. "Stay with us." The headlights illuminated a sign ahead. "Welcome to Mile 13. Population, never leave." Ethan screamed as hands grabbed him from the darkness inside the taxi. Cold fingers wrapped around his throat. His arms. His face. Pulling him backward. The woman slowly faded away beside him. Still crying. Still whispering. "I'm sorry." Then the taxi disappeared into the fog forever. 3 weeks later, police discovered Ethan's abandoned car on Highway 50. Engine still warm. Doors locked from the inside. No sign of Ethan anywhere. But investigators found one strange detail. Written across the fogged windshield. From the inside. 5 words. He picked up the smiling man. And sometimes, late at night, drivers passing Mile 13 report seeing a yellow taxi in the distance. Driving slowly through the rain. With too many faces staring from. At 12:41 a.m., Marcus Reed was driving through the mountains of West Virginia. Heavy fog covered the highway. The kind of fog that swallowed everything beyond the headlights. Marcus hated this road. Especially the tunnel. Everyone around town knew the stories about Black Hollow Tunnel. Disappearances. Voices. People seeing things inside. But Marcus never believed any of it. Until that night. His GPS suddenly lost signal. The radio became static. And his headlights flickered once. Then twice. Marcus sighed. Perfect. He looked ahead. The tunnel entrance appeared through the fog like a giant black mouth. Old concrete. Rust stains running down the walls. And above the entrance, someone had spray-painted a warning. "Don't stop inside." Marcus laughed nervously. Real funny. He drove into the tunnel. Instantly, the temperature dropped. Cold air filled the car. The sound inside the tunnel changed too. The engine echoed strangely. Like something deeper was repeating it back. Halfway through the tunnel, his headlights caught something ahead. A woman. Standing against the wall. Barefoot. Wearing a long gray dress. Hair covering her face. Marcus slowed down. The woman didn't move. Didn't react. Just stood there unnaturally still. Then, his engine died. The car rolled to a stop. Silence swallowed the tunnel. Only dripping water echoed in the darkness. Marcus cursed under his breath and turned the key. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Then. A soft knock. On his passenger window. Marcus slowly turned. The woman stood beside the car now. Completely silent. Face still hidden behind wet black hair. Man. No answer. Another knock. Slow. 3 times. Marcus grabbed his phone. No signal. Of course. Then the woman finally spoke. Softly. Barely above a whisper. Did you see the accident? Marcus frowned. What accident? The woman slowly tilted her head. Bones cracked quietly in her neck. Mine. Suddenly. Every light inside the tunnel shut off. Complete darkness. Marcus couldn't even see his own hands. Then. Breathing. Not his. Someone breathing inside the car with him. Marcus froze. The breathing moved closer. Wet. Uneven. Then a whisper came directly beside his ear. Look at me. Marcus turned instinctively. And screamed. The woman was sitting inches away from him. Her face finally visible. Skin pale gray. Eyes completely black. And the lower half of her jaw. Missing. Marcus threw the door open and ran. His footsteps echoed violently through the tunnel. Behind him. He heard laughing. Wet. Broken laughter. Marcus kept running. But something felt wrong. The tunnel never ended. No matter how far he ran. The exit never got closer. Then he noticed something horrifying on the tunnel walls. Handprints. Thousands of them. Bloody handprints covering the concrete. Some small. Some huge. All dragged downward. As if people had been pulled away screaming. Marcus stopped breathing. Then he heard crying ahead. A little boy sat against the tunnel wall. Maybe 7 years old. Covered in dirt. Help me, the boy whispered. Marcus rushed toward him. But just before reaching him, the boy slowly smiled. Too wide. Too unnatural. And his face split open vertically down the middle. Marcus stumbled backward in horror. The boy crawled toward him spider-like across the tunnel floor. Screaming loudly. Marcus turned and ran again. Then suddenly, he saw headlights ahead. A truck. Coming toward him fast. Marcus waved desperately. Help. The truck slammed its brakes. An old man leaned out the window. Get in. Marcus jumped inside immediately. The old man locked the doors. Hands trembling. You saw her, didn't you? The old man whispered. Marcus nodded shakily. What is she? The old man stared ahead silently. Then answered. 20 years ago, a woman died in this tunnel. Drunk driver hit her. But they never found her body. Marcus swallowed hard. And now? The old man looked terrified. Now she keeps searching for the driver. Suddenly, a loud bang hit the back of the truck. Both men jumped. Another bang. Then another. Something was climbing onto the vehicle. The old man panicked. She found us. Long fingers suddenly slid across the windshield from above. Wet black hair hung over the glass. Then, the woman's face slowly lowered upside down onto the windshield. Smiling. The truck swerved violently. The old man screamed. The windshield cracked instantly. Then the woman whispered. Wrong driver. The truck lights exploded. Everything spun violently. Marcus felt metal twisting. Glass cutting his skin. Then darkness. Marcus woke up sometime later. Rain poured outside. The tunnel was silent again. The truck was gone. The old man was gone. Only Marcus remained, lying beside his car. His engine suddenly started by itself. Headlights turned on, illuminating the tunnel exit ahead. Marcus didn't waste another second. He jumped into the car and sped out of the tunnel, never looking back. Hours later, he reached the nearest gas station. Shaking violently, the cashier noticed blood on Marcus's shirt. "You okay?" Marcus nodded weakly. There was a woman in the tunnel. The cashier's face went pale instantly. "What woman?" Marcus described her. Gray dress, black hair, broken jaw. The cashier slowly stepped backward, terrified, then whispered, "That's impossible." He pointed toward an old newspaper hanging on the wall. Marcus turned, and his blood froze. The newspaper showed a photo of a crashed truck. Date, 1998. The headline read, "Truck driver killed inside Black Hollow Tunnel." And standing beside the wreck in the photo was Marcus, wearing the exact same clothes. Marcus stumbled backward. No. Then he noticed something worse. Daniel Harper was exhausted. After 14 straight hours of driving, his eyes burned from staring at endless highway lines. It was nearly 3 a.m. And according to his GPS, the next motel was only 10 minutes away. Then the GPS glitched. The screen went black, before displaying one strange message. "Take exit 9. Daniel frowned. There is no exit 9. He checked the highway signs ahead. Exit 7. Exit 8. Then suddenly, exit 9 appeared. An old rusted sign pointing toward a dark road surrounded by trees. Daniel slowed down. He didn't remember this exit existing before. But he was too tired to care. Maybe the motel was there. He took the exit. Immediately, the highway noise vanished. The road became narrow and silent. No street lights. No houses. Only thick forest. Then he noticed something strange. There were abandoned cars parked along the roadside. Dozens of them, covered in dust, as if they'd been sitting there for years. Daniel's stomach tightened. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. Then his GPS spoke again. But this time, the voice wasn't robotic anymore. It sounded human. "Keep driving." Daniel nearly dropped the phone. What the hell? The GPS repeated itself. Slower this time. "Keep driving." Suddenly, a figure appeared ahead in the road. A police officer. Flashlight raised. Relieved, Daniel stopped the car. The officer approached slowly. Tall. Thin. Face hidden beneath the hat. "You shouldn't be here," the officer said quietly. Daniel laughed nervously. "My GPS brought me here." The officer became completely still. Then slowly asked, "What year is it?" Daniel frowned. 2026. The officer's breathing changed. Heavy. Uneven. Then he whispered, "Oh God." Before Daniel could respond, the officer suddenly grabbed the car door hard. Terrified. "Listen to me. Do not stop the car. No matter who you see." Then, the officer looked toward the forest. And his face filled with horror. "They found you." The flashlight shut off instantly. Darkness swallowed everything. Then Daniel heard movement in the trees. Hundreds of footsteps, circling the car. Daniel locked the doors quickly. "Officer, No response. Then something tapped the roof of the car. Slowly. 3 times. Another tap. On the window. Daniel turned carefully. And almost screamed. People stood outside the car. Dozens of them. Pale faces. Dark eyes. All smiling silently. The officer was among them now. Smiling too. Daniel slammed the gas pedal. The car shot forward down the dark road. The smiling figures remained standing there, watching him disappear. Then, every abandoned car beside the road suddenly turned their headlights on at once. Daniel's breathing became frantic. The forest ahead seemed endless. The road twisted unnaturally. Almost alive. Then his fuel gauge dropped instantly to empty. No, no, no. The engine began sputtering. And ahead, a small motel sign flickered in the darkness. Welcome to Exit 9 Motel. Vacancy. Daniel had no choice. The car died completely as he pulled into the parking lot. The motel looked ancient. Half the lights broken. Windows dirty. But one room upstairs glowed faintly red. Daniel stepped out carefully. The parking lot was silent. Too silent. Then the motel office door creaked open. An old woman stood inside. Smiling. "You made it," she whispered. Daniel forced a nervous smile. "I just need a room for the night." The old woman nodded slowly. Then handed him a key. "Room 9. Don't look outside after midnight," she said softly. Daniel frowned. "It's already after midnight." The old woman's smile widened. "Exactly." Daniel hurried upstairs. The motel hallway smelled rotten. Water dripped somewhere in the darkness. And every room door looked slightly open. As if someone inside was watching him. He entered room 9 and locked the door immediately. The room looked normal enough. Old bed. TV. Bathroom. Nothing unusual. Then he noticed something carved into the wall beside the bed. "They come at 3:13. Daniel checked the clock. 3:11 a.m. His blood froze. Then, the lights went out. Complete darkness. And outside his window, hundreds of smiling faces slowly appeared in the dark. Then came the knocking. On every wall. Every door. Every window. And all the voices whispered together. "Stay forever." Daniel backed away trembling. Then he noticed the bathroom door slowly opening by itself. Inside stood the police officer. Smiling wider than all the others. And behind him, endless darkness moved inside the bathroom. Like the room itself had become a doorway. The officer whispered softly. "There is no exit 9. The clock changed to 3:13 a.m. Then, everything went black. The next morning, Highway Patrol found Daniel's abandoned car parked beside exit 8. There was no exit 9 anywhere on the map. No motel. No road. Nothing. But inside the car, police discovered something horrifying carved into the dashboard. Fresh. Deep. Written by trembling hands. "Don't take exit 9.